What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cork to Glory. This is episode number 18. And we start today's episode off by seeing the Bohemians have agreed our terms with Forsell for his loan spell. Also, there was a loan bid for Cunningham, and I mentioned before, some of the offers you get for your players for loan deals just make no sense whatsoever when they're like a key member of your team, and then some random club's like, yeah, can we have him on loan please guys? And I'm like, no. So yeah, of course he just that bid there, and also did manage to split Forsell's loan wage there. So hopefully he will go. I think I called him Mikhail Forsell, didn't I? In the last episode, of course, this is Matty Forsell, his nephew, and yeah, we've agreed that wage split there, and hopefully it will go through. And for the first game of today's episode, welcoming Salford City, of course, came up with us via League 2 last season to Turner's Cross. As we know, still undefeated in Ireland in the league, though we did lose the reverse fixture in Salford by 2 goals to 0. 12 minutes to go, still dead up to 0-0. Just couldn't break Salford down in this game, but I thought if I can't get inside the area, I'll take aim from range. And after Cunningham's little flick, he finds Rory Keenan, and what a goal from our number 10. Cunningham with a nice little cheeky assist there, and Keenan, I tell you, he is so good. And you don't see how good he is in our team as Forsell's loan deal unfortunately does go don't go through here. You guys don't see how good Keenan is in this team, man. You know, last season, he was more involved on the offensive end. I think he ended up with like 9 goals in 17 from midfield, you know, in League 2. He hasn't scored as many this season, but he's a class defensive midfielder. We changed him from striker to defensive midfielder. He is so good in that role. Still following that, it was time for transfer deadline day, and as you can see, I decided to make a big gamble on transfer deadline day. Now, earlier on in the window, we had a bid for Nikolai Aloalo. I decided to reject it, but this time around, I negotiated with the Turkish club Alanyaspor, and we managed to sell him for £1.3 million. So our biggest sale in club history as Nikolai Aloalo goes to Turkey. Bit of a fan favourite, we loved him very much, but I had a plan on transfer deadline day. We already had a decent starting budget heading in to the day regardless, due to the money we'd saved, and I thought if I can sell Aloalo for over £1.25 million, plus a couple other players as well, we might just have enough for one of my main targets here. So unfortunately the Burn deal fell through. That's a real shame because we barely played him this season and I would have much preferred the cash, but I decided to negotiate with the Japanese side Nagoya Grampus for Liam Bossin, who of course was our starting goalkeeper last season. At the very beginning of this season, as we know, Levi, our French goalkeeper, has become our number 1 this year, but I decided to negotiate, and negotiated a £700,000 deal for the 25-year-old goalkeeper, because I thought if we sell him along with a low, that's £2 million combined. Obviously the board skimmed quite a bit off the top, but we might have enough for one of my main targets here with Cork City, and you know who he is. It's Gavin Bazunu of Rochdale, or failing that, Kelleher of Liverpool. So we raised around £2.5 million. There was 1 hour left on transfer deadline day, and I was like, right, is this gamble going to come off? I've sold one of my best goalkeepers, and was our starting goalkeeper before Ntumba took over. I've also sold our Finnish right back, who was one of our highest rated players in the team, and always puts in a really great shift. I was sad to let him go, but I was thinking it's for the greater good. So I couldn't get Kelleher because he's unwilling to relocate this time, and I went all out, and I mean literally all out, for Gavin Bazunu. Of course, we know he's on loan from Man City or Rochdale, but in the game he's actually an official Rochdale player, and unfortunately I just couldn't get the deal to come off. There was 2 hours to go on up at the initial bid in, then it went down to 1 hour after they wanted time to think about the deal, and unfortunately I was gutted, man. I'm not joking, I spent like, I don't know, 10-12 minutes doing negotiating with Rochdale. They weren't putting out negotiations, that was the funny thing. They just kept on asking for more money, and I was like literally going through every single position in my team thinking, oh, do you want this guy, do you want this guy, do you want this guy? I wasn't going to give them any of my my youth players, any of my my long-term assets for the future, but you know, Keenan Davis, Byrne, they both got included, as did a couple others as well, but sadly Rochdale were like, no, if you're gonna sign him from us, we're gonna let him go, you know, we want at least £3 million, and unfortunately we didn't have £3 million. So yeah, sadly the transfer deadline day gamble did not go off. You see the top deal of the window there, Bernardo Silva going to Real Madrid, and that's it. Deadline day is over. We sell Nikolai and we sold Bossin as well. You see, secure second place in the table heading into February, but the gamble did not pay off. I'm gutted about it, man. I'm really gutted. And if I go back in time, of course, I'll keep those 2 players here for the rest of the season, but I thought we'd have enough money to get Bazunu. Unfortunately, Rochdale were not playing ball. So yeah, the transfer deadline day gamble fails. We take a look at our academy here as we've now entered February. Couple of decent players to keep your eyes on, of course, and we promote a couple in today's episode as well. Costello looks really good. The right back we've turned left back here, 81-87 potential, and his potential is not dropping. That looks set at 81 or 87. It's just a shame his overall is so poor at 53. And yes, get in. I was gutted about the transfer deadline day gamble not coming off, but this makes up for it. We simulate a few days in the calendar past the FA Cup 4th round replays. We've had our draw for the FA Cup 5th round. Oh, Mourinho's men away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Absolutely buzzing. Last year we got West Brom away. I was really happy with that, even though we got knocked out. I really want one of the big boys this year though, away from home. We've got to the last 16. It's been an amazing cup run. I'm pretty sure our progress will end there, but get in, baby. Spurs away. And the good news keeps on coming as well. Following out, we promoted 3 players from our academy, McDowell, Bowen, and also Ethan Elliott. And Adam Bowen has the exciting prospect tag. I'm going to use this time real briefly to issue a formal apology to Reece Press. Reece, I'm sorry, I'm a very impatient person. I should not have been slagging you off so much, because now he's starting to deliver some really good youth players. Ethan Elliott shows great potential. He wasn't picked up by Reece, but he's our first Welsh player out of the academy. And he actually looks really solid as well. Very good technicals already. 81 ball control already on the 16-year-old. 63 overall. And yeah, very happy with the players just picked up there. But yeah, Bowen with the exciting prospect tag. Second player to have the exciting prospect tag alongside Eamon Cunningham. Yeah, I'm using this time to apologise to Reece. I'm sorry, bro. I should have threatened you with redundancy. I should have been a little bit more patient. Regardless, following that, we had a goalless draw against Crewe Alexandra. And we also had another scouting update from Reece here. Unfortunately, this time there was no one good. I did find a Barry Sharkey relative, but sadly wasn't good enough for our academy. Didn't make it in there on his name alone. But I'm also going to send my scouts out as well. The 6-month missions ended, so I'm going to send the scouts out on 3-month missions. That will take them up to the end of the season. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make these 2 my last scouting missions in the British Isles, and then from next season onwards, of course, we'll keep Reece in Ireland because we're an Irish club. We want local based talents. But the other 2 scouts, we're looking for physically strong players from Northern Ireland and Scotland this time around. But for next season onwards, guys, I'm going to start branching away further afield. Like we talked about, it will go sort of like abroad very gradually. We'll start with like Iceland, you know, Scandinavia, France as well, and it will gradually go further afield in the world as time goes on. So yeah, there you go. And Reece picking up Adam Bowen, second player of the exciting prospect tab. But this guy might only have shown great potential, but he's been coming alive recently, and he's been so consistent since he came out of the academy. Rory Keane, look at this for a cheeky little chip. This was glorious here from Rory Keane. As Cal Freezy used to say about 7 years ago, do you want some salt with those chips? And I can't do his accent, of course, but Keane, a lovely little goal there as he makes it 1-0. With a nice little dink into the bottom corner. And in that game there against Colchester in the 1-0 win, you might have noticed I put Patrick Keating at right back. And to be honest, now that we've sold Nikolai Aloalo, that might not be a bad position change for him. He's got pace, he's got stamina, he's got 64 crossing and some good defensive stats as well. Keating and Keenan, I like them as a holding midfield duo with Cunningham pushed up further forward, but we've got a job lot of central midfielders and defensive midfielders. What we don't have right now are too many class right backs. I know we've got Feeney, Humphrey has not worked out there since the position change, and of course we've got Seamus Curry as well, but he shows no potential. But for Keating, he previously did show great potential. I'm not against training him as a right back, and at least until the end of the season having him fill in there as a better option than Seamus Curry. I'm going to train him there, see how he gets on. It'll only take him 4 weeks, and yeah, knowing he can play both holding mid and right back, that's a real luxury because he looks like a very versatile player anyway, and I'd like to try him there on a more consistent basis. So yeah, after the development plan will set up our final game of today's episode, Oxford United here at Turner's Cross, aiming to make it back-to-back wins. Took the lead early through Samuel Bell, first goal in a few games for him, and then Eamon Cunningham makes makes it 2-0. He's been a revelation, and I love the nickname as well. The Real Deal makes it 2-0. And with 7 minutes to go, Sharky got an assist in the first half, and he gets an assist in the second half as well. Lovely cross by Barry for his second assist of the game. Who's there to head home? With a few games without a goal, but back with a brace in this one. Samuel Bell with 2 as he extends his lead in the top scoring charts in League One. Final score, Cork City 3, Oxford United 0. And we have been a little bit unconvincing in recent weeks. We have been caught up. Luton Town are only 3 points behind us now in 3rd place with 12 games to go. Though we do have the game in hand, yet we're still locked into 2nd place like we have been all campaign long as Barnsley still lead the way. Are we going to come from behind to win the title like we did last season, or will we have to settle for 2nd place? I'd certainly take that. Or will we drop into the playoffs? Well, 12 games to go. We'll find out very soon. But I want to tips to the Court to Glory, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have an awesome weekend. Quad upload as always, boys. And I'll see you for the next episode very soon.